I'm Jillian Blackburn, and this is The Spectrum.
A career change or even a promotion is never easy, especially when it comes overnight. This was the reality for Fisher's Chief of Police, Ed Gebhardt, who came into the role in 2018 after the abrupt end to Mitch Thompson's time in the job. Juggling a new position, the COVID-19 pandemic, and an ever-changing view of police on top of his own family life has been a major feat, but his role stays ever important. We sat down with him, his wife Amy, and his daughter Faith to discuss how he is not just the role that he fills. What was that like for you, just stepping into this role almost suddenly?
Stressful. So it was in the middle of the night, and it was unexpected. I thought that maybe I wanted to be a chief of police, and I was just kind of figuring that out with my family. But for the other roles that I'd taken on, that when I ascended up the line, I was able to sit down with the family and say, these are what I'm going to be obligated to do. This is what it means for you, because it affects them, right? You lose your anonymity the higher you go, and on this particular one, there was none of that. Get with the family, talk to them, get that support that I like to get from them. It was, boom, you're shot out of a cannon.
It was a shock. I knew he could do it. He was scared, worried, oh gosh, this is a lot all of a sudden. Yep, you've got this, because he'd been training for that. He'd been practicing. He'd been doing the work. So I had complete faith in him.
By applying his own views on family to his leadership practices, Gebhardt hopes to make a better environment for his constituents.
One thing with this job is you just learn to roll with it. So we did.
So when I was little, I was the girl who was stabbed with a cop, and it was scary. All the boys were like, "Ooh, your dad's a cop." It was like this joke. And they're always like, "Be careful, her dad's a cop." And so he's like that scary guy. And then my friends meet him, and they realize that my dad's actually really funny.
That if you I think you have to have a strong understanding of what people expect of you in order to lead your people into the community, especially in our profession. So yeah, if you're kind of aware of your internal staff and their families, they're representatives of the community. They communicate into the police department just like anybody else, and so it can be a starting base as long as your ears are open to it. Here it's a family first. We gotta take care of home. We gotta be okay at home in order to be okay here. My guys and gals are not going to be at their best if home's not somewhat in order. So if something's going wrong or one of the officers is off, we generally start with, is everything okay at home, and we take care of that. You'll see kids through here, sometimes a dog or two, depending on what's going on there, but I pride myself in keeping that door open, because I think it's health, right? It leads to good health.
There's one thing she did that has changed probably my life respectively in the career field, is that she taught me how to be a civilian again. Mm-hmm. So, when police get into the culture, and I was accepted into the academy at 21 or 20, and then I was in the academy at 21, which is really young. And you indoctrinate yourself into that world a little bit, and you become a little hardened, and then you hang with cops, and you be with cops, and then you become that. And when she came along, it was like an awakening of this other world of, we had our friend-based group, and I'd always heard that in order to successfully navigate the career, you got to have friends outside of the career. But I really didn't know how to take that tangible on by myself. She brought that to me a lot through the marriage of, hey, let's go see them so we don't got to talk about the latest robbery, or let's go see them. So
he doesn't focus on his legacy, rather setting up a good foundation for the future. He hopes for his methods and practices to be remembered for years to come in order to keep a positive police force.
So-and-so gave me a ticket. The other day I had this issue with so-and-so, or you get those. And
one time there was this jerk cop.
Yeah,
do you know him?
Yes, got a mustache and a hat on. So getting outside of police work has probably helped me to grow tremendously in terms of civilian friends, and I don't say that in a negative way, but in a very, very positive way. We have a lot of friends outside of the job. I have friends inside the job as well, which is important, but
We come across you at your most emotional time. We need to understand that. You come across us at your most emotional time, regardless of your color, regardless of who you are and where you're from. We have to understand that. Your baggage is a lot different than our baggage. We have it, you have it, we all have those implicit biases running through us. We just need to check that at the door.
We're very different. Like our personalities, I tend to be, I don't know, more careful, or
She's cautious.
I'm more cautious. He's bolder than I am, but I also tend to give people like maybe too much of a benefit of the doubt, I guess you could say.
Yeah, you do.
And so, and so I'll say to him, well, consider this, look at it from this perspective. So yes, there's definitely times where I do that, and he'll calm down. He'll say to me later, you were right. I was overreacting or something like that. And then there are times where I know that I probably don't need to make any comments, just because there are some things that I can't fully understand.
Yeah, there's just some things that your policy or departmental
Yeah,
protocols
that I don't know enough about.
that she's not going to be able to. I may ask for an opinion on personalities of approach, but if it's something I have to do, then it's something I have to do.
Yeah.
Regardless of how I feel about that, right?
Yes.
So
He would go to these protests, and I told him to go. When he asked me my opinions, I told him that he should go to a protest and like march with them, get other people's perspectives, like ask them what you can do, because at the end of the day, that is all you can do.
leadership is you take all the trade secrets and you walk out the door. The people behind me and the leaders that are next are all coming through in the ways that I would hope that they continue the organization. So whatever groups or things I'm involved with or strategical planning that I'm doing should be carried on by the leaders that are around me long after me. That's a legacy. Not Ed did this. It's did we set a tone in the agency to make change? We're combating things in our community that are 500 years back, and to sit here and say, man, Ed is going to cure that, I'm not. But if we set the chain of events right, maybe the third leader in line sees the finish line, or maybe the next leader in line sees the finish line. And that's important to me. So my legacy would be is that we carry on and try to police our community, and so my officers understand how people feel about them. So we have those peaceful moments on the street, and then we can lead our community through the toughest times by having that understanding, and that legacy carries on, hopefully.
Look out for our next series of profiles as we finish out the 2022 school year. I'm Jillian Blackburn. Let's explore the spectrum.